श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभाव निरवैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जपु आदि सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच जाओ ताओ प्रेम खेलन का चाओ सिर धर तली गली मिल आओ एक मार्ग पैर तरीजै सिर दीजै कौन ना कीजै कबीर जिस मरने ते जग डरै मेरे मन आनंद मरने ही ते पाइयै पूरन परमानंद। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। पतित पावन भगत बछल कृपा निधान चावर छतर तख्त दे मालक धन धन साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी की पावन और पवित्र हजूरी अंदर जोर मिल बैठी गुरु रूप गुरु खालसा साध संगत जी। We're all blessed here to be in the sanctuary of Dhan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And since this morning you've all been listening to Kirtan, and just now you've listened to the vichar of Sant Baba Baljit Singh Daddu Sahib Wale. We've been talking about recent morche, recent Sangharsh that has been taking place in India. I've been asked to do a talk on Shahidi and sacrifice. So what I'd like to do is take us back to the start, from the first Shaheed in the Sikh Panth, who was the 5th Guru, Dhan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, whose Shahidi Purab is coming up in this following week. I would like to talk about what a Shaheed is and what sacrifices those Shaheeds made for us to be here today. So first of all, what is the Shaheed? The word Shaheed is an Arabic word and it means agwa. It means someone to give an account, or someone to be, like when you have in court, someone that's a witness. So Shaheed literally means someone that is a witness. And then I also got told to talk about sacrifice. So I looked up the meaning of sacrifice, and in the Oxford Dictionary, there's one of the meanings for sacrifice is to give up something that is of worth to you for a bigger cause, for a better cause. And then when you put the two together, all our Shaheeds from Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji to the present day Shaheeds who have been given their lives right up until Bhai just passing just a couple of months ago, all them Shaheeds sacrificed something, then gave their lives for us to be here today. And what we need to focus on is what did they sacrifice, and what can we take away from their jeevans, from their life, and what can we start to give on a daily basis to become closer to the Guru. So if we start with Dhan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji and their Shahidi. In the times of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, the emperor of India at that time was called Jahangir. And Jahangir had one of his main people, one of his main men within his empire, who was called Chandu. Now Chandu wanted his daughter to get married off. It got to the stage where he wanted to wed his daughter. And they went to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji and they asked for the rishta to do the marriage of the daughter of Chandu with Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji's son, who later became Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, the 6th Guru. And at that time, when they went back to Chandu went back to Jahangir, and they told that we're going to look to do our daughter's rishta into this house. The emperor at the time and other people of the empire got hankar, they got ego. And they said that you're an emperor of India, you've got loads of riches, why are you going to go marry your daughter into a house of saints? They're just saintly people, they haven't got no money, they haven't got anything. After hearing this, the Sikhs of the time got very offended because their Guru had been disrespected, and they did a beinti to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and they wrote a letter to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and they said, no matter what happens, you're not to marry your son, to them, as they're mocking the Sikhs and they're mocking you as our Guru. And Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji just like all the 10 Gurus and now Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, listened to the Beinti of the Sangat. The Sangat that did a Beinti not to get the son married to Chandu's daughter, and they didn't. And then after that, the friction started to build up, and it came to the stage where Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji got tortured over a number of days. And the torture, we've all probably seen pictures, we've heard before. Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji was made to sit on a hot iron plate and had hot sand poured into their head. Then they were made to get off the hot plate, and then they were put into a cold river. And these kind of tortures, they went on for 4 days, and then Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji became Shaheed. So that was the stage of that was the Shaheedi of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. But a couple of years before that, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji was at Darbar Sahib, Sri Harmandir Sahib, and they were utwaring the Bani. They were reciting, they were reading out Gurbani, and they were reciting Sukhmani Sahib. And in Sukhmani Sahib, in the 8th Ashtapadi, Maharaj says, Brahm Gyani ke Tiraj Ek. And at that point, Saimi Amir, who was a Muslim Veer, was a very respected person and had a lot of respect for Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. He was present in the Sangat at that time. And when Maharaj uchared that Pankti, after, when Maharaj was then talking to the Sangat, Saimi Amir asked Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, they said, you were reciting Sukhmani Sahib and you said, Brahm Gyani ke Tiraj Ek. What that basically means is that a Brahm Gyani, one who is one with God, the Tiraj Ek, they always stay one. They're never really happy, they're never really sad. It doesn't matter what happens, they stay the same. They have a similar emotion through happiness, through sadness, and through anything else. And Saimi Amir asked Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, they said, this cannot be possible. Everyone in this world gets emotional, everyone gets happy, everyone gets sad. That there surely cannot be anyone in this world that it just stays the same all the time. And Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji said that there will be one day that you will see someone in front of you who has Tiraj Ek, that just stays the same throughout. No matter whether something's happy, whether something bad's going on, they stay the same throughout. When Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji was sat on the Tati Tavi and they were getting hot sand poured into their head, at that point Saimi Amir said to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji that you're the Guru of the Sikhs, you've got so much following, you're not using your following, your Sikhs, to stop you, why are you giving your own Shaheedi? And then at the same time Saimi Amir said that if you want me to, I'll put a stop to this Shaheedi, you don't have to sacrifice your life, and I'll put a stop to it so you can carry on being the Guru and living in this world. And at that point, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji said to Saimi Amir that I said to you that day at Harmandir Sahib that you will see, you will witness one day within your life someone who has Tiraj Ek, someone who is the same throughout happiness, through sad times. And at that point, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji was sat on the Tati Tavi and they were ucharing the Shabad, Tera Kiya Meetha Lage. Whilst they were sat on a hot plate with a fire underneath, they said, whatever happens to me, whatever you do to me is sweet. At that point, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji showed that to us. Now throughout all these shaheeds that I'm going to talk about, we need to look at what we can take from them and how we're going to apply it to our life. They've given their shaheedi for us to be here today. But are we going to use their shaheedi to better ourselves? Or are we just going to disrespect their shaheedi and not take anything away from what they gave for us? They gave their lives for us to be here today as Sikhs. Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, from their shaheedi, they showed how you should be one throughout happy times and good times. Now obviously within the world, you go through bad patches, you go through good patches, but one who comes to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and bows down in front of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they start to realise that it's all in the hukam, it's all in the will of God. Whatever happens to us is in the will of God. Just like Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji knew that they were going to have to give their shaheedi and they got tortured, but they weren't affected by it because they knew it was all in the will of God. And they said that whatever the will of God is, that is sweet to them. So we within our lives need to maybe look to accept the will of God and work through the times that we're given and not put the blame. People, Vidwans in the past have written about how a Gurmukh should be, how a Gursikh of the Guru should be, and it links in with this of having oneness throughout happy and bad times. They describe that a Gurmukh should be like a sher and not like a dog. Now this analogy works by saying that if you hit a dog with a stick, the dog will try bite the stick, the dog will attack the stick, They won't realise that the person who's actually hitting them is the person that's got the stick, not the stick, so they'll attack the stick. Whereas someone who doesn't understand the Guru, hasn't understood the will of God, will never understand that there's a bigger picture, that it's all within the will of God. They'll just blame the person that's done something bad to them, or they'll just blame God. But they don't realise that it's all to do with past actions through the 8.4 million lives that we've been through. That's what we're reaping, that's whatever we've sown, that's what we're reaping in this life. But then a good Sikh is like a shade. What a shade does is, if you hit it with a stick, it realises that the stick isn't the thing that I need to attack, it attacks the person. Now, we don't need to attack anyone, it's just an analogy that we need to realise that there's a bigger picture to life. It's not, you can't blame Sri Guru Granth Sahib, you can't blame God for anything bad that happens in your life. You should have one dheeraj and to accept the will of God. That's what Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji taught us through their Shahidi all them years ago, and that still needs to be applied within our lives today, that we start to understand that we need to, through good and bad times, we stay one Saman, and we always come to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji for the help, and return to Bani as our asra, as our support. Through anything in life, we turn to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. We don't go elsewhere, we come to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and the Sangat to get what we need. At the same time, what else did Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji give us? They collected the Gurbani from Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji through to Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji, and they compiled it all in the Adi Granth, and they did Prakash of that in Sri Harmandir Sahib. And when they did Prakash of that, they gave us Gurbani, but they also taught us with that the respect of Gurbani. So through Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji's Jeevan, they gave us the respect for Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji for any form of Gurbani. When they were collecting the pothis and they had them at Darbar Sahib, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji used to put the pothiyas on a bed on a manji Sahib and used to sleep themselves on the floor. That was out of the nimirta and out of the respect for the word of God. Although they were the Guru at the time, they would sleep lower. They would lie lower than the Gurbani. Now that again is a teaching for us of the respect of Gurbani. Because without Gurbani, we've got nothing. Maharaj says, Jio tapat hai baro bar, tap tap khabe bahut bekar, jaitan bani visare jai to pakka rogi vilalai. That one person who forgets Gurbani, we've all been through, first of all, Maharaj is saying that we've been through all these lives, our soul's been through all these lives, and we've been burning for millions of lives. And now we've got this form of a human. But we've been through all these lives burning through wanting to become one with God again. But then now we're in a human life, that person that has still forgotten Bani, has gone away from Gurbani, gone away from the Guru. They're like a pakka rogi, they've like got a pakka disease, they're like a diseased person, and they're just going to fall back into that cycle for 8.4 million lives, constantly being born and dying again, but not meeting with the aim and with the one goal, which is meeting with Akal Purkh Vaheguru. And Akal Purkh Vaheguru on this earth is Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. We can meet with them on a daily basis. So we need to start to interact with Bani, recite Gurbani, so we do not have that disease, so we get cured from that disease. So that was the Shahidi of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and that's coming up within the next week. Then if we move through other Shahids, and we come to the times of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. At the time of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, we've all probably heard before the Shahidi, the Sakya of the Shahidi of the Jar Sahibzade. So I'm not going to go into that too much, but then I want to look at the sacrifice that the Sahibzade made. Now, if you think, in a way, sacrifice and Shahidi are two different things. A Shaheed is someone who becomes martyred, yeah, they give their life. But before they gave their life, the Sahibzade made sacrifices. What did the Sahibzade sacrifice for us? They sacrificed worldly goods. The Chhote Sahibzade were offered, at the ages of about 5 and 7, were offered riches, were offered kingdoms, yeah, were offered money to give up their Sikhi. But they sacrificed the worldly goods to stay one with God, and they did not give up their Sikhi. Again, that's the teaching to us today, that are we giving up our Sikhi so cheaply, just for worldly, just so we fit in with society? Where the Sahibzade gave their life for their Sikhi. And today, in this day and age, we give up, all of us, we give up Sikhi very cheaply. So we all need to start to think about the Shahidi, the sacrifice that they gave for us, so we could be here today, and what we're going to learn from that. The Vadde Sahibzade, the two older ones, Baba Jajit Singh, Baba Jujhar Singh, they fought in a battle. Yeah? So they, throughout their life, from when they were young, they sacrificed their time to be trained to stay Tayar par Tayar. Baba Baljit Singh just said as they left that we should all stay Tayar par Tayar, ready at all times to defend Sikhi. But at the moment, we can't even defend Sikhi ourselves, within ourselves. We need to become a true Sikh. That's the only way. They were talking about Khalsa Raj, and over these last few months with the Bible One thing going on in India, everyone's talked about Khalsa Raj, that we need Khalsa Raj, or people are saying we want Khalistan. But if you're not a Khalsa yourself within your own house, of your own body, how are we going to go out and ask someone else to give us our own homeland? So we need to start from looking at ourselves first, and look at ourselves and say, how much of a Khalsa are we? A Khalsa is Baba Ajit Singh, Baba Jujhar Singh, who at the age of about 15 and 17 didn't care for the world, didn't care for anything else. They went into the battlefield and they had joy to go and give their life. They had joy to become one with God again through giving their life. And throughout their life, they sacrificed the worldly goods. They sacrificed themselves and pulled themselves away from society. And the only thing that they became one with was Gurbani. That was their one asra, that was their one ode throughout their lives. They were reciting Gurbani constantly. And then if we look at Shaheeds like Baba Deep Singh, what did they sacrifice? Baba Deep Singh, if we look into their Jeevan, from a very young age, came to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. They took Amrit, and from a young age they started to recite a lot of Gurbani. Now, we all might look to these Shaheeds and think, how did Baba Deep Singh fight with their head held in their hand? How did Bhai Taru Singh get their khopri, get their scalp taken off, and then live for 21 days? And there's only one formula, one thing that gave all the Shaheeds in Sikhi that strength to do that, and that was Gurbani. Baba Deep Singh from a young age started to jod with Bani. They used to recite Gurbani constantly. They used to constantly recite Gurbani, and at the same time they used to do Seva, and at the same time as that, they used to stay there for war, for battle, by training and doing Gatka, Shastra Vidya. And then as they went through their life, Baba Deep Singh continued doing Bhagati. Then, after staying with Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji for some years, Baba Deep Singh then returned back to their Pend. After that, then Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji, after all the battles, after the 14 battles, when they returned back to Damdama Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji had promised the Sikhs that they were going to tell them the correct pronunciations of Gurbani. At that point, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji called for Baba Deep Singh to return from their Pend. Baba Deep Singh, listening to the hukam of the Guru, returned back to Damdama Sahib with the Guru. And at that point, they did a Mahan Seva when Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, in 9 months, 9 weeks, 9 days, recited Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and did the Arth, so the translations, the meanings of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Baba Deep Singh was the Sahayaka Lakari. They used to help, but Bhai Mani Singh Ji was the Lakari. They used to write, as Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji uchared the Bani from memory. Bhai Mani Singh used to write, and Baba Deep Singh used to go get the scripts, the papers, the ink and all that kind of stuff, as they were reciting and writing out Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Then after that, Baba Deep Singh themselves wrote numerous swaroops of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And then they stayed at Damdama Sahib for many years. At Damdama Sahib, they did a lot of bhakti. They used to just constantly recite Gurbani and do seva of the sangat of anyone that used to come to Damdama Sahib. Then came the times after the Shahidi of the Chote Sahibzade, when Baba Banda Singh Bahadur set off from Sri Sachkhand Hajur Sahib, Nanded, and came towards Sirhind to do Fateh of Sirhind and to get revenge for the Shahidi of the Chote Sahibzade. Baba Deep Singh also joined that army that came to Sirhind, that took over Sirhind and destroyed the whole city for what they had done to the Chote Sahibzade. Baba Deep Singh Ji was part of that. They sacrificed their whole life towards Sikhi to give us a teaching so we can be here today. Then the time came when Sri Darbar Sahib was under attack, and they were using Darbar Sahib for things that you can never imagine that place would be used for. There was alcohol being served in the grounds of Darbar Sahib. Baba Deep Singh with his army set off, and they did an ardas. Now here again, this is where the Guru Sikhs get their power from an ardas. They did an ardas that Maharaj Sahib, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, I'm setting off for the protection of Sri Darbar Sahib, but I want to take my last breath after Darbar Sahib has been freed. They knew that they were going to die, that there was no option of living after going to free Darbar Sahib. They knew they were going to have to give their life. That's why they had been building up and doing all that bhakti all them years, all that Gurbani that they had recited. They knew that one day they're going to have to make that stand. They made that stand, and the only one wish they had was that the biadbi, the disrespect of Gurbani and of Darbar Sahib stops before they leave this world. Bhagat Kabir Ji says, Kabir marta marta jag mua, mar pe na janya koi. Aisi marni jo mare bahar na marna hoye. Bhagat Kabir Ji says that the whole world is dying. Now that's obvious to see. Anyone that comes onto this earth is going to die. The whole world is dying. But there's that one death that you can die, that you'll never have to die again. That is the death of such great Guru Sikhs that Baba Deep Singh Ji died. They gave their Shahidi, but they'll never have to be reborn again. They'll never have to go into their 8.4 million lives again. But how did they attain that? They didn't just randomly wake up one morning and pick up a khanda and say, I'm going to fight with my head in my hand. There was something behind that, and that's the sacrifice that they made of their whole life of reciting Gurbani and becoming a sacrifice to the true Guru, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The Chote Sahibjad, they did the same. They were a sacrifice to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, to Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They gave their lives, not just physically giving their life at the end when the end came, but throughout their life, giving their life to the Guru. And we as people in this day and age living in England, no one's asking us to go out and give a sacrifice by physically sacrificing our body. But on a daily basis, we need to start sacrificing ourselves to the Guru. Maharaj says, Manabaj karam aradhe karta tis nahi kade sajai hai. Man means your mind. With your mind, you need to be a sacrifice to the Guru. Bach, your bhajan, with your bani, with your bowl, from whatever you say, you need to be a sacrifice to the Guru. And karam literally means actions, but what do you do actions with your body? Your body, so with your mind, your body, and your speech, you need to be a sacrifice to the Guru. And by doing that, this nahi kade sajai hai, you will never have to put up with the saja, the torture of the jamdoods that the angels of death, that once you die from this life, that put you into another life when you go to the Dharamaraja. If you become a sacrifice to the true Guru, Kartar, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Vaheguru on this earth, the Sargun Sroop of God on this earth, if you become a sacrifice through your mind, your bhajan, from what you speak, and through your body, you'll never have to go through them 8.4 million lives again. But then how can we become a sacrifice? We should just look to the Shaheeds. How did they become a sacrifice? So man karke, how did they beat their mind? Now our mind is such a thing that all the time it's running about. Now we're sat here right now, but we're probably thinking about other things. We're thinking about what we're going to do when we're going to get home, thinking about what work tomorrow or school tomorrow, whatever we do, university tomorrow. Our mind is always wandering away from what it should be concentrating on, which is Gurbani or Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. How are we going to defeat our mind? Because Maharaj says, Man jeeta jag jeet, that if you defeat your mind, you'll defeat the whole world. But your mind is very hard to defeat. Now you've got the panj jor, kaam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar, lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed, that are constantly fighting your mind and pulling your mind away from Gurbani and pulling you towards society. But how can we control this mind? You control this mind by controlling your Gyan Indriya. Now your mind constantly gets knowledge through these Panch Gyan Indriya, which is your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose. So basically your five senses are constantly feeding information to your mind, and your mind then starts to process this information that it's getting. So if you control your Gyan Indriya, you can start to control your mind. Now, when we sit to recite Gurbani, a lot of people say that I can sit there and I start saying Vaheguru, Vaheguru, but my mind won't concentrate on it. To help your mind to concentrate, to sacrifice your mind, you need to control your five senses. Now how can you control your five senses when reciting Gurbani? You can come to the Sharan of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and you can, whatever you're reciting, look at it. So that's your eyes are now focusing on it. Read it aloud, listen to what you're saying. It'll all help your mind to concentrate. Don't have any kind of smell that's going to distract you. Some people like doof and stuff like that. It gives a nice scent so you can concentrate on what you're saying. And to touch, some people even pretend that they're writing the Gurbani that they're reciting, so they're out in front of their hands pretending that they're writing it in the air so they can concentrate. So to sacrifice your mind, you need to control your Gyan Indriya, your senses. Then your bhajan, your bowl, how are you going to control your bowl? We should try to, as much as possible, recite Gurbani, recite any form of Gurbani, whether that's Vaheguru Mantra, Mool Mantra, or any other Bani in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, to constantly repeat it. And then that's how we can control our bowl. And then as we become closer to the Guru, then we will become and start to feel the presence of the Guru. We'll recite longer and longer. But it's about the three together. You need to defeat your mind and sit down and recite the Gurbani. Then how are you going to be a sacrifice by your body? Bhai Gurdas Ji in the Vara say, Par Dakhana Dandaut Kar. That when you come to the saran of this true Guru, of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, you can sacrifice your body there for them few minutes or few hours or however long you're in the sharan of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Paradakhana means to do parakarma, yet walk around. It's a combination of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the true Guru, to show that respect that you are the center of our life. Everything we do revolves around you. And then Bhai Gurdas Ji said, Dandaut Kar. To do Dandaut is to be like a danda, to sacrifice yourself like a stick in front of Maharaj, like a stick lays on the floor when we come to Matha Tek. We should have in our mind that we've been sacrificing ourselves to Maharaj, that we've come to Maharaj and we're sacrificing ourselves. And if we look at the Jeevan of all these Shaheeds, that's what they've done. They sacrificed themselves, Man Bani Sareer Karke, from when they were at very young ages. Now I've talked about males and their sacrifice, but females, the Bibia, the Matawa in Sikhi have given the biggest dain. And if it's not for the Matawa, a Qawm stops. A nation will stand still and be defeated if the mothers of that nation are weak. If we look at the mothers of the Sikh nation, if you look back to the times of Mir Manu's jail and look at the sacrifice of the mothers of this Qawm. The mothers of this Qawm at that time used to have to spend all day rotating a chakki to make atta. So they spent all day in the summer heat rolling around this chakki to make atta for the Mughals, who used to then go eat it, living off very little food. But then as well as that, on top of that, after one day's hard work, what would they see? They'd get their young children, who were like 1-2 years old, taken off them out of their hands. They were thrown in the air as high as they could go, and then they were caught on the end of spears. Now just imagine any relative that you've got, or any young child, if you've got your own children, or any relative that you've got, a young child that you're close to, that you've got emotions, you're attached, you have attachment to children, to your own children. Imagine that child getting taken out of your laps, and then getting thrown into the air and getting caught on the end of a spear. Then after that, getting taken off the spear, cut into little pieces, and a necklace of their body, then being put around your neck. Most of us would dole at that point. We would give up Sikhi. We would think, is Sikhi really worth it? Is it worth our child being put around our neck? But then Matawa were one. They had judged with Bani. They accepted the hukam. They understood the bigger picture. They did not give up their Sikhi, but they gave their children as a sacrifice, as their children became shaheed for us, so the Sikh Panth could carry on. And at that point, the ploy was to kill the youth of the Sikhs, the children of the Sikhs, and Sikhi will stop. And at that point, the Matawa in Mir Manu's jail said to Mir Manu that however much you kill us of, there was eagles and birds that were coming at that point and picking up the little bits of the children to eat them and flying off. And said, just as far as these birds are flying off with these pieces of our children, that's how far Sikhi will fail. It will go worldwide. And if we look today, Sikhis everywhere, wherever you go, any country you go to, you'll probably meet a Sikh somewhere. There'll be someone sat there. So they became sacrifices, and through sacrificing themselves, they became so much power through Gurbani that what they said became true. They understood that they had to give the lives of their children for Sikhi to continue, and they gave that. But then are we still doing that? A beinti to the matawa of Sikhs now. Let's not just cut our children's hair very cheaply for no reason, just so they fit in society. If there's a problem of fitting in society, others are continuing growing their hair. They've got long hair, they go to school, they go to universities. If you look to the support and take the support of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it doesn't matter where you go in this world or whatever happens, you will be protected. There'll be no problem that can face you that Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji cannot sort out. But first of all, initially, we need to make that sacrifice. We need to have that strength to stand up. Just like the Bibiyan in the jail of Mir Manu had the strength to watch their children get killed in front of them, then put around their necks for Sikhi. We need to have that strength just to make a little stand on a daily basis that we're not going to cut our hair again. We're going to come to the Gurdwara more. We're going to stop eating meat. We're going to stop drinking. We're going to stop going out clubbing. Because all these things, all they're doing is taking us away from the Guru, taking us away from God, and putting us back into this cycle of 8.4 million lives. This illusion of Maya, this illusion of the world is all going to end one day. And we don't know when our time is going to come. So we need to start to act now so that we don't have to react by going into the 8.4 million lives. We don't know when you're going to get this human form again, when you're going to be able to sit on heaven on earth. Now religions talk about heaven and getting to heaven. We've got heaven on earth because we've got Vaheguru, we've got God sat with us right here in the form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Sarguna Sarup of Akal Purkh. Gurbani itself, Maharaj says, Vahu Vahu Bani Nirankar hai. This is Jayavad Avarnakwe. That Gurbani, any form of Gurbani, all of Gurbani is Nirankar, is Akal Purkh Roop, it's the Sarguna Sarup, it's the form of God on this earth. And there's nothing, this is Jayavad Avarnakwe, there's nothing that's bigger than that, there's nothing that's more powerful than that. So we need to start to make a stance and make strength throughout our lives on a daily basis so we can become a sacrifice to the Guru. And we may not have to give Shahidi physically by giving our bodies, but we can sacrifice ourselves, man bani sarir karke, through our mind, through our body, and through our actions and our speech. Now if we come to I just want to talk a little bit now about what's been going on in India with Bhai Singh Rajwana, the sacrifice that he's given along with other Gursikhs in jail like Bhai Jagatar Singh Hawara. There's many Sikhs that are still in jails in India and have been for numerous years. What's Bhai Singh's sacrifice? Bhai Singh, at the time of initially giving his sacrifice, wasn't even a Sikh in the form of Amritdhari Gursikh, but he had that dard for Sikhi. He had that pain, he felt that pain when Byanta was going around and killing all the Sikhs, Naujwans. He had that pain that this guy is trying to finish off Sikhi, someone needs to finish him off. Him along with Bhai Dalawar Singh and all the other Sikhs that came together and made the plan and killed Byanta and sent him to Narak so he can get beats and get tortured there. They made that plan knowing that we're going to have to give a sacrifice. And before they did this, before they came up with the plan, the first thing they planned was that no matter what happens, we will never bow our matha in front of Delhi Sarkar. We will never bow down to the Julam Sarkar of Delhi, who has done this to the Sikhs, has killed off so many Sikhs. Since from about 1984 to that time, there had been over 500,000, between 250,000 and 500,000 Sikh Naujwan that had been killed within India. They said no matter what happens, we will not give in to them. They gave that sacrifice. Bhai Dalawar Singh became Shaheed on the spot. Bhai Balwan Singh was arrested a few months later and since then has been in prison. They've sacrificed 17 years of their life in prison and they didn't even actually carry out the act. They wanted to, between Bhai Balwan Singh Rajwana and Bhai Dalawar Singh, they had to toss a coin of who's going to get to kill Byanta. That's how much jar they had to kill him, because they had that pain that he's killing off Sikhi. How was he killing off Sikhi? One, he was getting Sikhs to nashe, to cut their hair. The ones that cut their hair and fell into this nashe and everything against Sikhi, then he'd just leave them alone. But then the Sikhs that were in Sikhi's roop, he'd just kill them. And at the same time, we're still getting killed off in that way. No one's killing the ones that are in Sikhi's roop in England. They are maybe in India, there's been oppressed. But in England, no one's killing you off if you're in Sikhi's roop. But Maya is taking you away from us, taking some of us away from the Guru, or all of us away in different ways. So we need to start making these steps of sacrifice. Bhai Balwan Singh spent 17 years in prison. Within them 17 years, Bhai Balwant Singh's kept his beard now and become Amritdhari Gursikh. He's got that Shakti of Khande Di Pahul. Khande Di Pahul, what Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave us in 1699, that all Sikhs should develop themselves, build themselves up, and then one day, when old enough and able to keep the discipline of a Amritdhari Gursikh, male and female, should take Amrit. What is Amrit? Amrit literally means, Mrit means death, Earth means with beyond. Amrit makes you beyond death. Now Bhai Balwant Singh, in my eyes, is beyond death. Because when he got told that on the 31st of March, you're going to get hung alive, he didn't even think to do a lawyer then. He hasn't done a lawyer since the first day he was in prison. The only thing that he did when he got told that he's going to get hung on the 31st of March, he did a jagara, and he did a war cry, and he sent out a message to the whole of the Sikh nation that we need to start to come back home. In his letter on Vaisakhi, he wrote a very nice letter to the whole of the Sikh band. He says we need to come home, return home to our Sikhi Sarup, return home as Sikhs and grow our long hair. And he describes it within his letter that Sikhi is a home that was, the walls, the foundations were laid by the first 4 Gurus. Then the 5th Guru, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, put the roof of that house by giving their Shahidi, Shahidaze Sartaj, the crown of all Shaheeds. Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji gave their Shahidi. Then the gardens and the fences of this Sikhi Sarup, of this Sikhi house, was put down by the Shaheeds, by Bhai Taru Singh, who wouldn't cut his hair but had his scalp taken off. Baba Deep Singh, who fought with his head in his hand. The Bibiyan that I just spoke about in Mir Manu's jail, they are the fences around this house of Sikhi. If we come home to this house of Sikhi, the Panjachor, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mohankar, they can't touch us. If we come back to the Guru, if we return home, society can't touch us. And then on top of that, physically, if anyone tries to attack us, they can't touch us. Bhai Balwant Singh got told, you're going to get hung alive. He did a jagara. He said that I'm not going to go for any appeal. I'm not going to appeal to a system that is against the Sikhs, a system that has been killing off Sikhs since the very start of Sikhi. That same system that is only alive because of Sikhs. If it wasn't for Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, Hemdadi Chadar, the 9th Guru of the Sikhs, to go to Delhi and give their own life along with 3 Gursikhs, Bhai Mati Das, Bhai Sati Das, Bhai Dayal Das, the Hindu religion would have got killed off at that point. But Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji sent their father to go give the Shahidi. At the age of 9 years old, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji said to Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji that there's only you in this world that can protect this religion and save them. That same Hindu government now, in these years, is trying to kill off Sikhi. But Bhai Balwant Singh said that we're not going to give in to them, and we're not going to go away from our Sikhi Sarup, our home of Sikhi. For 17 years, Bhai Balwant Singh's been locked up in a little cell. For these last 4 or 5 years, he's been in solitary confinement, not meeting any other prisoner, not being allowed out anywhere, just in a small cell. But within that cell is all he needed. All he needs is Naam. All he needed was the oath of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And he's had that for the last 17 years, and he's built up that spirit. And after that, following what's happened in India, there's this massive campaign going around, it's all over the internet, and everyone went to protest, and there's this I Pledge Orange campaign going on, and it's a great thing because it's bringing Sikhs together under the orange and Nishan Sahib again. But one beinti that I'll do to everyone is, how much have we actually pledged orange? There's one pledging orange just by tying at the star. That's not very hard. Anyone can get an orange dastar like I've done and tie it around your head, or get an orange chunni and put it on, get an orange batka and put that on, and attend a march for one day. But have we actually done what Bhai Balwant Singh asked us to do? If we're wearing t-shirts saying in some solidarity and celebration of Bhai Balwant Singh, have we celebrated what he wanted? Have we put full ladehar on his bhajan? His bhajan are to return home to this Sarup of Sikhi. Or have we just put Nishan Sahibs outside our house and thought, well, that'll do? That's a start. But the main thing is our own Jeevan. How are we going to change ourselves to pledge orange from the inside, not just the outside? How are we going to pledge orange? Do what Bhai Balwant Singh said, return home to your Sarup of Sikhi. If you cut your hair, stop cutting your hair. If you eat meat, stop eating meat. If you don't recite Gurbani, if you've got the outward appearance of a Sikh like I have, but you don't do anything, you don't recite Gurbani, then you need to start doing that. We need to start coming to the Guru and look to the Guru for support. and then look and think ourselves, have we actually pledged orange? Have we done what Bhai Balwant Singh wanted us to do? Because many have, others haven't. Bhai Jaspal Singh had that dard, and he pledged orange and went to a march in Gurdaspur and gave his Shahidi. And on the internet, there's a little clip of Bhai Jaspal Singh a few minutes before he got Shaheed. And at that point, he's shouting Jagare against Shiv Sena, the Hindu extremists that came at that point that were protesting against the Sikhs. He made that stand, he pledged orange, and when he left his house, the day that he went to Gurdaspur, as a joke he said that if Bhai Balwant Singh's not released, I'm never going to come home. But that was his jar within himself. Now his Jeevan, what his family is described on TV, you would have all seen it. He used to go to the Gurdwara every day. He used to do Prakash of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji at Amrit Vela. He used to do Nitnem in the Sangat. He used to go to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji on a daily basis. And within him, his family said he's always had jar that he wants to give his Shaheed. He wants to become Shaheed. And Maharaj listened to his ardas. Now, Maharaj will never return anyone's ardas. Whatever ardas we do in front of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they'll give us whatever we ask for. Bhai Jaspal Singh asked that they make a stand and that they give their Shaheedi, they gave it. We need to ask for Gursikhi Didat. And if we have not yet taken Amrit Didat, and we need to take steps on a daily basis, practical steps that we can achieve to become close to the Guru. There's no point in just saying, well, today I'm not even on the ladder and tomorrow I'm going to take Amrit. We have to be practical. How are we practically going to develop ourselves? If we've taken Amrit, that's not the end, that's just the start. How are we going to practically better our Jeevan to become closer to the Guru? That's what we all need to start thinking. And this I Pledge Orange campaign is only worthwhile if we pledge orange from the inside as well as the outside. If we look back to the Shaheeds of the past and take from what they sacrificed for us, learn from them and take strength from their sacrifice, and then look to ourselves and look to those around us and try to, as a whole Sangat, as a community, work towards becoming closer to the Guru, to reciting Gurbani. I think that's the most important thing that we need to do now, is that we need to, whilst this I Pledge Orange campaign is going on, we need to look to come closer to the Guru and look to the Shaheed Singhs from the past and Singhania and what they did and how they sacrificed their lives. But becoming a sacrifice and becoming closer to the Guru isn't just done through Shaheedi. There's many good Sikhs that didn't pick up the sword in the sense that went to battle. Now, Bhai Daru Singh, we generally think, people might think that Bhai Daru Singh was a Sikh that was in the armies at that time fighting, but the actual truth is Bhai Daru Singh, all they did all their life was recite Gurbani and Seva. They wasn't, obviously Sikhi has two parts, Sant Sipahi. They were Sipahi as well, but they never actually actively became that soldier. They were more a Sant. They used to just help the Sikhs at that time who were being oppressed and had to live in the jungles. They used to go and give them food, give them prasada. They used to do Langar Di Seva constantly. And through that, they became closer to the Guru and they got that Shakti. They got that power to have their scalp taken off and to be bleeding constantly for 21 days, but they stayed alive. Bhai Mani Singh, who was cut piece by piece, yeah, the whole body, limb by limb, they were cut until they died. They were a Granthi. They used to just do the seva of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. That's all they did all their life, is recite Gurbani and do the seva of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And they become one with the Lord. So we don't always have to straight away think that we have to pick up a weapon and go and give us a Shaheedi straight away. The only reason why them Shaheeds got to that level is because they did the basics first. They used to spend time in the langars, wash the bande, serve the langar, recite Gurbani, do seva in the Gurdwara, and utmost and most importantly, respect Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and recognize Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji as the living Guru, the form of Sri Guru of Akal Purkh on this earth. Now, as I finish off, that's my one beinti to everyone here that's here today, that we become closer to the Guru in however much of a little step it might seem, that we take it. We take it to become closer to the Guru, because if we take one step towards the Guru, the Guru takes 100,000 steps towards us. And if we just take a few steps, we'll end up meeting the Guru. But it's about taking that initial step. And no matter where you are in your life now, whatever your jivan is like, however much you're into Sikhi now, it's never too late, because you've got this one chance as a human to become close to the Guru and to become one with God again. And we need to use the jivan of these shaheeds to support us and to push us forward. So, just as I finish there, that's my one binti that we all take away, that we pledge orange by doing what Bhai Balwant Singh said. Not just by wearing the orange, that he's told us to wear that, that's great, but we need to return home to this Sikhi Saroop. So whilst talking, I would have made many mistakes, and I apologise if I've offended anyone whilst talking. And I pray to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji that bless us all with Gursikhi di daat, Amrit di daat, so we can become one again with Akal Purkh Vaheguru. Deho Sajjan Asis Sadiya, Jo Hove Sahib Se Umer, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Bole So Nihal.